What's going on, guys? I'm at GMG Automotive today and we have an update on the 240. Super excited. The 1J is in the 240. Look at that shit. Freaking badass. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. If you guys haven't seen the last video I posted giving a little bit of an update to what's going on with the 240, definitely check that out. I just kind of wanted to film this as not only like an update for y'all, but kind of just like a timestamp for myself looking back to see like where the 240's at, kind of this phase of the build when it was happening years from now. We got still a couple things that need to happen, like this radiator, the fan shroud's kind of sitting a little bit close to these bolts. So you can see I've notched the core support, but looks like we're gonna have to go a little bit more with it just to get it to fit. George was saying it was hitting on these bolts up in here. So
yeah, so I think the problem is the main center snout is the issue on the fan. So I think if we come back just a little bit more and maybe run the bring it back, I'd say maybe a half an inch, it'd probably give you enough clearance, and it'll just be a little bit more tilt forward. And then you gotta do all the fab stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, we should be ready to fire this week for sure. We just gotta tidy up the battery cable. We had to go back through the firewall when we ran your harness. We got to go put the main power wire back up through here, and then we're going to build our little junction box here, and then we're going to put power to this. Pray to God that nothing is weird wiring wise with the factory stuff. Put power to it, and then hopefully crank it over this week.
Hell yeah.
That's the goal, we got to definitely tidy up the power steering pump, because you got a little movement here. Yep. So I'll have to do some custom spacers for that. And then that's about it. We'll do all the fluids and get everything ready to run. So that's the goal,
Which I have those in my car. I need to go grab that. We still need transmission fluid because that's a little bit weird.
Yeah, I already ordered it.
Oh, really?
I already called them to order it,
You got the freaking Wiring Specialties harness. Looking super good. Nice and neat.
Your shifter's basically done, drive shaft's done. We can lift it up if you wanna look underneath it.
Yeah, just a minute. It'd be cool. The transmission came out a little bit far back, but that's not a big deal.
Yeah, that center section, that main center section is incredibly thick and hard to cut out. So there's no graceful way to cut that out.
It doesn't matter, dude.
It's not super pretty, but yeah, I mean, other than that, though, once maybe you do like a custom shift boot or something on it, get it cleaned up and get it sealed. What I would do is I would take a piece of flat sheet metal and do a two-piece section like this, and then bring them together. That way it meets around the shifter, and then just rivet it all flat, make it look really clean, keep all the heat out of the car, and seal it up possibly.
If I can find a way to make the stock center console work over everything, cutting it up a little bit, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the biggest problem with the shifter, which is not even a huge problem, is just finding a way to mount that handbrake, which I might actually do kind of like some of the Injuku cars and put like a little place to have it pivot on the front and then run the rod.
That's what I do is we normally will, like on the S13s and E36s, I'll weld a flat tab like to the side of the transmission tunnel right there, so it almost like extends the flat island out. And that way it has a base that comes off of that. And all you really need is just enough to, to mount it on there. And then you just weld that, to the chassis, and then you do some supports at the bottom, and you can rip on it all day long. I'll show you on the E36 that we did. Cool. It's super simple. I mean, the plate and everything for it is really nice and really clean, but it's just, it doesn't work with that setup. That's made for being in the factory shifter hole setup. And then once they get done with the car, I'll get it back from them, throw some intercooler piping on here, get an exhaust built for it. And then we're pretty much ready to rip on this bad boy. Gotta throw in like all the other stuff, interior, that sort of thing, seats, dash, start going to town on body work. I'm gonna go up with it. Got this beautiful new drive shaft in here. Hell yeah. Looks good. You can see the Collins adapter plate up in here. One that we've always had with these cars is the transmission tunnels just can't receive the size of the body, so you always have to do a lot of pushing and hammering and shaping and sculpting to get it in there, and it, it goes in. It's just really, really tight. That's part of why I went with this. They had two different options. The stock bell housing on this thing was freaking massive. Yeah. So they had one that like sandwiches just a little plate, but figured that'd be a lot easier. Yeah. No. The biggest thing that people hate is just that this sticks down so far. I mean, you can't go up any higher. I mean, you're literally pushing into the sheet metal at this point. It's just the bodies are so big on them that it's big. So
You're saying too something about that mount being a little bit weak, maybe?
Yeah, I've had to reinforce these almost every time I've done them, because you can, if you look at it from here, you can even see where the mounting holes are. It starts to tilt down a little bit back here because the force of the transmission is pushing it down, and your mounting holes are here. So it usually ends up bending down a little bit here because it naturally wants to, you know, to drop whenever you start doing a lot of aggressive driving with the car. So if it ends up starting to do that, we'll push it back up. And then I have a piece of square tube that I do, and I flat plate the frame, and I'll do like a tab off it, and then do nut certs, and have you know, like a 12-14 millimeter bolt. That way you can have a removable center cross number on it.
I like that a lot.
You know, it makes it you know, a lot more efficient, you know. But yeah, drive shop came out nice. They always do a good job. Driveline services in North Atlanta, they are the best.
Nice.
They've been doing drive shafts for me for a long time. Got new hardware on it, and we're gonna double check all the fluids. I'm pretty sure there's fluid in diff, but we'll double check.
Yeah, I put it in there.
Okay.
Because I just have
everything looks pretty new though. You got all the pro arms.
Yeah, dude. I think Chase Bays makes a thing. I just was kind of hesitant to buy a whole new thing just for that line.
Which one is that? That's the map sensor.
Oh, I didn't have that either.
Yeah, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with that. Most of the coolant stuff is pretty good. We'll have to do we're doing heater core, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Heat, no AC.
Yeah. So, yeah, just a few things.
Check out this super freaking sick GTR. I think this thing came from Florida. Actually kind of close to where I'm at, maybe in the Destin area, I think. Pretty sure I've actually seen this car at maybe like a couple Destin car meets before. Looks familiar. This is now the second time I'm filming clips in my room for a video this week. Forgot to film an outro, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, drop a big like down below. I think this video is gonna mean a lot in the future, just looking back to kind of see like where the car was, and also just give you all an update, kind of see what the car's been doing. Like I said, if you haven't seen the last video, kind of talking more about how the car ended up at GMG. I can get more into depth on that if y'all want in another video. But anyways, hit me with a comment if you have any questions, drop a like down below, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out.